Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. So we talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Ross Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Just like the headline says, John Calipari has landed his first big splash player in the transfer portal so far in this offseason for the Arkansas Razorbacks with the announcement that Jonas Aidoo, the former Tennessee center, has committed to the Arkansas Razorbacks. I'm going to go over how massive of an addition Jonas Aidoo will be for Arkansas next season, and what else John Calipari has to do in the transfer portal to help make the Arkansas Razorbacks a great team next season in college basketball. Now, we know Arkansas was not good this past season. They had an under 500 record, but Eric Musselman, he's out of town. He's now at the USC Trojans, and John Calipari coming over from the Kentucky Wildcats, and he's putting his flavor of recruiting onto the Arkansas Razorbacks, bringing some of those five-star players over from the Kentucky Wildcats. But now he has landed his first big portal addition. We know he got Big Z from Kentucky. That's a solid addition. He might be able to improve next season at Arkansas and get some more minutes, but it wasn't a guarantee that he was going to be the starting center for Arkansas next season. And now we know who John Calipari wants as the starting center for the Arkansas Razorbacks next season, because Jonas Aidoo, he was the starting center this past season for the Tennessee Volunteers, and he helped the Volunteers make it all the way to the Elite Eight. He had a really good season. He's a good defensive player. He blocks a lot of shots, but his offensive game is growing as well. I think this is a great fit for Arkansas because they needed a center. And I've said when John Calipari came over to Arkansas, he needs to be able to bring in not just freshmen that are talented, but also experienced transfer portal players, because that's the perfect type of roster that you can have in college basketball these days. That's what Dan Hurley does. He brings in talented freshmen, but he also brings in quality players through the portal, and he has some returning players as well. And that perfect mix has helped the Huskies go back-to-back, winning 2 national titles in a row. But Joe Tipton tweeted out the Tennessee transfer big man Jonas Aidoo is committed to Arkansas. The 6'11" junior averaged 11 points, 7 boards, and 2 blocks per game this past season at Tennessee. And he's 6'11", 241 pounds, so he's got really good size. And he's from Durham, North Carolina as well. And a lot of people thought he was going to end up transferring to the North Carolina Tar Heels during this offseason because of the fact that North Carolina needs a center now that Armando Bacot is out of eligibility. And North Carolina's got a lot of NIL, but Arkansas's got a lot of NIL now because they got John Calipari at head coach. And with the Tyson billionaire down there in Fayetteville, that's going to help Arkansas's appeal of being able to bring in top quality players through the portal, because NIL, it's the name of the game right now in college basketball. And if you got a lot of it and you have a coach with a proven track record of sending guys off to the NBA, the players are going to follow. And Jonas Aidoo, in 3 seasons in college basketball, he averaged 2 points as a freshman, 5 points as a sophomore, and 11 points as a junior. So you see that solid progression year over year. Every single season in college basketball, he's gotten better. And the fact that he has improved in all other categories in passing, rebounding, and blocks, that's a good sign that he could continue to improve, especially if Jonas Aidoo does everything he possibly can as well to improve. Because no matter how hard a coach tries to develop a player, it's still up to the player to improve as well. The only thing that has gotten worse for Jonas Aidoo throughout his college career is his free throw shooting, ironically, because he shot 75% at the line, although it was fewer attempts as a sophomore. But this past season, he only shot 62% at the line. So he's got to get better at that. 51% shooting from the field. You would like that to be a little bit higher considering he is a post player, but still over 50% is decent enough. And he did shoot a few threes at Tennessee, not that many, but maybe that's a part of his game that can be untapped that Arkansas will have to see. But Arkansas's recruiting class so far has just been consistent of Kentucky players. Carter Knox, Billy Richmond, and Boogie Flan, all former Kentucky commits under John Calipari, have all followed him to Arkansas. They're all going to be massive players for Arkansas. They all could end up being one and dones. I'm sure that 1 or 2 of them might not be. It's always the case that some of them don't develop as a freshman, but some of them will. It happens every single year at Kentucky. And now those players are going to be going to Arkansas. It's going to be crazy seeing Arkansas as a team that's going to be bringing a lot of guys off to the NBA because of John Calipari. And then now with the 2 transfers, Big Z, and then now Jonas Aidoo. Jonas Aidoo, to me, is the most important player he's brought in so far because of the experience that Jonas Aidoo has in college basketball. That is going to help out the Razorbacks. And it's something Cal had to do because Arkansas literally lost every single player from this past season's team. Not one player stuck around. Either they were out of eligibility, or they've gone off to the NBA, or they have just transferred to another program. None of them wanted to stick around in Fayetteville despite the fact that John Calipari was the new head basketball coach. And someone tweeted tweeted out and said that head hog John Calipari is batting 1,000 so far in Arkansas's recruits visiting and committing 5 out of 5. I will say those other 4 were a lot easier, though, because John Calipari already had those ties with those players. But Jonas Aidoo was the toughest get so far because, as I said earlier, a lot of people thought he was going to North Carolina. It would have made a lot of sense because that's where he's from. UNC needed a center. They got a lot of NIL, but the Arkansas Razorbacks, they're killing it in the portal. They got a ton of NIL, and they got John Calipari in town, and things are on the up and up for the Razorbacks. They got a lot more they need to do in the portal, though, and possibly bringing in a few more players from Kentucky if John Calipari is able to land a few more. It might not be the case, though, because Santos Cyril, he's committed to Georgia. Jaden Quaintance is committed to Arizona State. 2 of the other players that John Calipari had in that great recruiting class. Aaron Bradshaw transferred to Ohio State. So some of the players aren't following Calipari, but he got the big 3 in Carter Knox, Boogie Flan, and Billy Richmond, and then Big Z through the portal. Now he's got Jonas Aidoo from Tennessee. It's a tough loss for the Volunteers, even though they brought in Felix Okpara from Ohio State. Losing Jonas Aidoo is tough enough as it is for Tennessee, but now the fact that they're going to have to be going up against him now that he's still in the SEC playing for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Inter-conference transfers are always the toughest blows, but another team's loss is another team's gain, and John Calipari, hopefully he is building the Arkansas Razorbacks roster the right way by bringing in more experienced players like Jonas Aidoo in the future. Hopefully that's what he does, because if he does, including having these talented freshmen, that's going to possibly make Arkansas a really dangerous team next season. In John Calipari's first year, it's going to be tough for all these players to mesh together, but the more experienced guys that he brings in, the better, and there are still some quality players in the transfer portal left, and I'm sure that John Calipari is going to continue to get the work with that Tyson Billionaire Food Group war chest to help make Arkansas's roster a deep and talented one next season in college basketball. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about Jonas Aidoo transferring to the Arkansas Razorbacks, and whether you think that he is the biggest addition that John Calipari has brought in so far, and what else you think that John Calipari is going to have to do in the transfer portal and possibly in high school recruiting as well, if there's any players left in that, to be able to make Arkansas a quality team in college basketball next season. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I'll see you next time.